Youth Biolab Jeunesse.
Hi, I'm Steve.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Angelica.
We're from the Youth Biolab at the Albertson Research Center at St. Boniface Hospital. We all know the job of the hospital is to treat patients. Here at the Research Center, our job is to study disease. If we ever want to cure a disease, we have to understand it first.
When you think of scientists studying disease, you probably think first of things like cancer or more recently, COVID-19. We don't study either of those here. But there are research scientists over at the National Microbiology Lab who are studying infectious diseases like the flu or COVID-19 or Ebola, where they have special equipment that can protect them from the germs that they're working with. There are also groups of cancer scientists working over at Cancer Care Manitoba in Health Sciences Centre, and it's their job to study cancer. We like to keep scientists together so that they can work as a team to come up with cures or treatments for these diseases that we see.
At the Albertson Research Center, we have three big interests. On our fourth floor, we have the Division of Neurodegenerative Disorders. This is where we study diseases that affect the brain and nervous system, just like Alzheimer's disease and type 2 diabetes nerve damage. On our third floor, we have the Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences. This is where we study diseases that affect the heart and cardiovascular system. On our second floor, we have the Canadian Centre for Agri-Food Research in Health and Medicine, and this is where we study food. They research foods that are really good for us, some that might be bad for us, and some that might be so good that they act like medicine.
Our lab, the Youth Biolab, was created so that we can share some of the things that we do here in the Research Center with you. And hopefully we can help you learn a little bit more about how medical science works and understand a little bit more of the science of your own health.
COVID-19 has been affecting people all around the world for over a year now. It's been a really confusing time with so many changes happening in our lives and so many different things being said about COVID-19, vaccines, safety, and if and when our lives are going to go back to normal. All of this leaves people with a lot of questions, and scientists have been working very hard to search for these answers. Today we're going to give a little background on infectious diseases to help you understand what viruses are, how they affect the body, and how the human body protects itself from invaders like the one causing the COVID-19 pandemic. What are infectious diseases? Any sickness caused by a germ getting inside your body and causing health problems is called an infectious disease. When we talk about germs that can make us sick, we're talking about very small things, much smaller than our own cells. Germs can be different kinds of bacteria, fungi, or in the case of COVID-19, a virus. In most infectious diseases, the germs that grow in us while we're sick can spread to others and make them sick too. And the time that a sick person can spread their germs to others is called a contagious window or contagious period. And sometimes people can be contagious and spread their germs before they even feel sick and after they recover and feel better. What are viruses? You've probably heard that you're made of tiny things called cells. You've got skin cells and blood cells and brain cells. You're made of trillions of cells. Well, these viruses are way smaller than even a single cell. This is a red blood cell, and this is how small the SARS-CoV-2 viruses are in comparison. Viruses can't live or grow on their own. They can only survive and grow by infecting other living cells in what we call a host. Viruses use their host living cells like factories to make more copies of themselves. The more virus copies you have in your body, the sicker you can get, and the more you can spread to other people. You've probably heard of the common cold, the flu, chickenpox, measles. These are all caused by different viruses that use humans as hosts. There are also viruses that use different kinds of hosts, like they might infect plants or bacteria, or different animals, but not humans. Different viruses also grow in different parts of the body and cause different kinds of symptoms, like the chickenpox virus that causes itchy bumps, versus a cold, which makes people get stuffed up with snot and gives most people a sore throat. Just like different types of animals look and behave differently and live in different places, different types of viruses have unique characteristics. What is COVID-19? COVID-19 is the name scientists gave to the disease caused by the new type of coronavirus we've been hearing about lately. It's short for coronavirus disease 2019. The name for the virus itself even tells us a lot. It's shortened for severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, or SARS-CoV-2. What it really means is this virus with these crown-shaped spikes can cause very damaging and sudden sickness in the lungs and airways, and it's the second coronavirus that's spread globally. The first outbreak made it to Canada in 2003, and it didn't affect as many people as COVID-19, but did cause lockdowns in Toronto to stop it from spreading. How does SARS-CoV-2 infect people? Whenever you breathe or talk, the air you're exhaling has thousands of tiny droplets of water floating in it. They're so small and light that they can hang around in the air for around 10 minutes. When a person is infected with a virus like the flu or COVID-19, even when they have no symptoms, there's usually a lot of virus growing in the mouth, the nose, and airways. So when these infected people breathe, talk, sneeze, or cough, copies of the virus are carried out into the air in these respiratory droplets, where they can be breathed in by other people, or land on surfaces that other people might touch and pick up the virus on their hands. This is why we've been wearing masks to prevent our respiratory droplets from spreading to other people, and washing or sanitizing our hands often, especially before touching our faces. Once the virus gets into the body, it uses these spike proteins to stick to the cells lining the airways and lungs. That's why most people's first symptoms are loss of smell or loss of taste, sore throat, coughs, or sneezing. The attached viruses send the instructions for how to make more viruses into the cell, turning the cells into virus factories. The new virus copies leave the cell and can spread around the body, infecting more and more cells. After a couple of days, a person can be growing millions of virus copies a day before they even feel sick. Can't your body fight off the virus naturally? Usually, young, healthy bodies can fight off germs quickly, maybe even without having any symptoms of a cold or flu. And we'd only see more vulnerable people becoming severely ill, like the elderly, very young babies, or people who already have health conditions. Even when people don't get severely ill, it can be hard having to miss school or work, and getting a cold or flu sucks. Our bodies do have many ways of protecting us from germs and fighting infections. Within minutes of a germ getting into our body, our immune system responds by sending white blood cells into the infected area to gobble up germs. They also cause some other changes that make it harder for germs to grow, like raising our body temperature and a fever. After a few days of an infection, up to a week, other white blood cells begin to recognize that spike protein on the coronavirus as something different that our body and cells don't have. Then the white blood cells make special targets called antibodies that stick to the virus and help other killer white blood cells find and destroy all the viruses way faster. Some infectious diseases are harder to fight than others or can cause a lot of damage in the body. COVID-19 seems to cause more serious sickness in many people than a cold or flu. And an infected person, even with no symptoms, can be making millions of viruses a day. So preventing them from spreading it to other people is very important. What makes coronavirus different or worse from other viruses like the common flu? Overall, the COVID-19 pandemic is such a big concern because so many people have gotten sick with it all over the world in the last year. It spreads quickly from person to person. People infected with SARS-CoV-2 are most contagious early in the infection, so they're more likely to infect others before they even feel sick. Scientists also think that up to half of the people who have been infected with COVID-19 don't feel symptoms and won't know that they're germ factories, so they might be less careful with mask use, physical distancing, and hand washing than they would be if they knew they had COVID-19. This virus is also really good at getting into our cells quickly and sneakily. These spikes on the virus's surface make it very good at sticking to our cells. So people can become infected with COVID-19 by breathing in just 10 virus particles. And people sick with COVID-19 can exhale thousands of contagious respiratory droplets each second. So it's easy to catch even with a little close contact. Although many people sick with COVID-19 feel symptoms similar to a flu, People with COVID-19 can become much more sick than people with the flu and often have to stay away from work for a longer time, even weeks or months. More people with COVID-19 also need to be hospitalized and use oxygen tanks and ventilators to breathe than with the common flu. Way more people have died from COVID-19 in the last year than what we see yearly from seasonal flus. And doctors and scientists are also learning that many people who even have mild cases of COVID-19 are probably going to have health problems in the future because of the damage the virus causes in the different body systems while a person is sick. The virus usually enters through the mouth or nose, but inside the body, it can affect the lungs, the heart and circulatory system, even the brain or the intestines. And since it's really hard to tell who will get severe and who will get mild COVID, our best strategy is to prevent the spread for everyone to stay healthy. If we really want to see an end to the COVID-19 pandemic, we each have to do our part to reduce the spread of germs. So don't forget to wear your mask in public, keep a 2-meter distance from others outside your household, wash your hands, stay home if you feel sick, and get vaccinated. We hope this video helped answer your questions about how your immune system helps protect you from infectious diseases. If you want to learn more about vaccines and how they prevent the spread of infectious diseases like COVID-19, check out our new video linked in the description below. If you still have questions, send us an email or message us through our Instagram or Twitter. Thanks for joining us, and stay curious.
Make sure to click like and subscribe for more videos, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. To support the Youth Biolab's ongoing programming and expansion plans, please contact St. Boniface Hospital Foundation at stbhf.ca.